On the one hand, the opening ceremony would be in line with the idea of holding the concise Winter Games and preventing and controlling pandemic. What are the difficulties in it, and how can you make this ceremony impressive and unique?
Pandemic prevention and control are really important. We strictly adhere to the requirements. The biggest difficulty, though, is cooperating and communicating with the international teams. The opening ceremony is different from other international events. There are many people and technical teams involved. And because we're outside the closed loop and there are international teams inside, there are many things we need to talk about. To adjust the camera angles and everything. In the last 15 to 20 days before the ceremony, the most important task is to make broadcasting better, not just to improve the programs. It's more like making a film, and we need to have detailed communications with all teams from the Olympic broadcasting services.
And what aspects of Chinese culture will be featured in this ceremony?
There are Chinese cultural elements in every minute. We don't have any specific chapters to introduce the 5,000 years of Chinese culture like we did in 2008. The elements are instead merged into every part of the ceremony. We did our best. It begins with a snowflake, held by the head of each national team. The snowflake is crystal and formed like a Chinese knot. At the end, these will change into a giant torch, which still resembles a Chinese knot. The Olympic rings include these elements too, and their appearance is closely linked to Chinese culture and a drop of water from the Yellow River in a Chinese painting. And the ice door and passageway used to welcome international athletes have traditional patterns from across China, which changed 30 to 40 times, showing the long history of Chinese culture and opening door to the guests from around the world.
Inspired you when designing the Olympic flame, and what elements did you consider?
In the past 100 years, the Olympic flame would light up a very big torch, but this time it's quite different. The torch is held by the last bearer of the relay. This arrangement is based on the idea of low carbon and environmental protection. The main torch will be a giant crystal snowflake made up of smaller snowflakes from some 90 countries. This is perhaps the first time this has been done in the history of the Olympics and expresses the idea that the world is one family. This method of lighting up the main flame and the shape of the main torch are a bold innovation. The old way will eventually be changed because it's not in line with low-carbon practices and environmental protection. So we, for the first time, have proposed this change and made this bold innovation, and luckily, it was approved by the Beijing Organizing Committee for the 2022 Olympics.